don't have a Vitamix, should you get a 3600 or 4000 or a newer model? No. Okay, that was the short answer. Long answer is no, you shouldn't. I only use this because it's retro style, antique looking, awesome machine. It's a lot of fun to use, and the only reason I showcase the videos that I do on my channel is because there's no instructions out for these. Some people have these because they've inherited them, or they find them at a thrift store, and you know, there's just not that much information out there for these. And they're not very intuitive to use, because you have the forward. Everybody knows how to use a blender regularly. You just turn it on and there you go. You set your speed, whatever. But it has reverse on it. What do you need reverse on a blender for? Well, the Vitamix is not just a blender. It's a whole food machine. It does so many processes that it's really, to call it a blender is just, you know, it's one function of many for this machine. And a lot of people don't understand what reverse really does. So there's a learning curve that's associated with this antique Vitamix, and without the information, without the instructions, you just don't know what you're doing. And it's the same thing with the newer models. There's a learning curve to go with that, but it's much more intuitive. You just turn it on, set the speed to go, and then that's it. And you have a little pulse button. It's very intuitive. It's a no-brainer to operate. But there is a learning curve with it, and the difference is you have instructions and cookbooks and videos and all kind of stuff out there to learn how to use the machine. It's really, really easy. But with one of these machines, you know, if your great-grandmother gives you one of these and it's like, you know, what am I supposed to do with it? You know, that's what my videos are for. So anyway, I just love the style. It's a lot of fun to use, especially once I figured out what I can do, which pretty much does everything a modern machine can do. Virtually everything. The only thing it can't do is what the air disc, because this has the air disc attachment now, and obviously these never had them. But otherwise, it'll bake bread, it'll make soup with friction, it'll freeze ice cream. All these things I showcase on my channel, so you can just go and look at those videos to see what this thing can do. Chop and all that. Everything is very, very easy. And what I like about it is the spout is actually really handy. I like to dispense my ice cream in it. It's kind of like one of those old school malt shop machines. It's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, there's no instructions, and to figure it out on your own is impossible. Don't even bother trying to buy one of these if you don't have a Vitamix. If you have it, then you'll benefit from my channel. Another thing is parts availability. It's very difficult to get parts for these. It's very, very difficult. In fact, because I was trying to get spare parts like containers and stuff, I ended up having to buy whole machines. Because people end up selling these machines on eBay for pretty much the price of the individual parts a lot of other people are selling. Like, for example, this lid is like $30 just by itself on eBay. $30 just for the lid. To get the whole container is probably like $60, $80, and then the motor is another like $60, $80. You might as well buy the entire machine, because these are sold for about $100 to $150, which is to me a fair price. I mean, especially if you just want something that's decor, or you know, something just to play and mess around with. But for me, I already had a 5200 at the time, and I saw this and I just had to have it because I thought it looked awesome. But yeah, parts are very hard to come by, and even if you buy a machine, there's a pretty good chance that it wasn't taken care of, and you'll have leaks at the bottom. And that's another thing about eBay sellers. They'll say tested working. What is tested and working? Just doing this? That's not, that tests the motor. Yeah, that's fine. But when you have a container, you have to check for leakage, and they never do that. You have to ask the seller, hey, does the container leak in any way? You have to ask these questions before you go ahead and buy. But yeah, you have to be aware about that. Another thing, really, okay, the parts of it, customer service. You're not gonna get customer service for these machines anymore. These machines are so old, they're older than the people that work at customer service and Vitamix. They're just, the only thing they know how to do is just send it in and we'll give you a voucher for a new one, which is what I recommend. If you have one of these and it's broken in some way, just don't even bother. I did have one that I had somebody repair for me for some money, and it was worth it for me because I want my machine to be restored. But if you're looking for a machine to use every single day for, you know, normal purposes, get a new machine, trade it in, get a new machine. If you just, like I said, this is hobby stuff at this point, you know, don't think you're gonna buy one of these machines and be able to use it every single day, which you could, but here's the other disadvantage. The other disadvantage is this machine is designed to make food for a number of people, for families. So if you think you can just sit there and make a single serving of smoothie, you're not going to make it because the minimum batch requirement is a bit higher than that of a newer Vitamix. For example, when I did my liquefying video, a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, you're taking forever. That thing sucks." Well, I only put a few little frozen berries in there. I didn't put enough material in there, ingredients to get the machine to circulate everything. That's why it was taking me forever to make it. I couldn't even reach the ingredients with the tamper, but it did do it eventually. However, yeah, if you want to make something in the Vitamix, the classic Vitamix, it's got to be probably about up here. Let me see. Yeah, I would say just about above the spout here, and the bottom is right here. So it's got to be about like right there. Somewhere in this range. And that's about two servings, really. If you want to be as the best efficiency, you want to have about that much in the container for it to process well. As far as a smoothie, like I said, different ingredients respond differently in the containers. It's just all experience and learning curve. With the new Vitamix, you can put pretty much, 1 cup just above that line because the blades sit much lower in the container. The bowl on the bottom, it's actually a bowl design, where here in this container, it's flat. So it doesn't guide ingredients into the blades. This one does. It guides the ingredients into the blades. That's why you can do single servings very easily. This one here, you have to reverse it to get it to do, make some turbulence and draw everything into the blades. So that's the primary disadvantage, I think, is parts availability, customer service, minimum batch size is higher, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's a wonderful machine. It's awesome. You can do all kind of stuff. But if you're looking for your first Vitamix, this is not the first Vitamix that you should get or buy. But if you did inherit one of these, you're in luck. I wish I had inherited. Anyway, so another advantage of these, there's numerous advantages. First of all, this is just better engineering. It's a modern machine. The modern machine has much better engineering that's gone into it. They're much more powerful, and so they process food much faster. So don't get me wrong. The processing is much faster on this machine than it is on this machine. However, this machine is very fast to process. You've seen my video or go see my video about the Orbapi juice. I forgot what it was. This was like an orange smoothie that I made, and I put the ingredients in, and they're whole foods. And this machine destroyed everything and turned it into a smoothie like that. It was great. But with this machine, I'll do it probably maybe 20-30 seconds faster. If that's a huge time difference for you, you know. Anyway, this is the faster processor. Also, it's smoother. The blends do come out somewhat smoother, but again, that's only something you really notice between the two if you compare them, because this will make the smoothie extremely smooth. At least to me, it's very smooth. But this does have a smoother texture, just that much more. And what else can I say about the performance? That's pretty much it. Well, yeah, okay. One last thing is technique. This machine involves more technique than this machine. This machine, like I said, is just one direction it goes, and you just set the dial, and you can either pulse or turn it on and use the tamper, or you know, whatever. Because it has such a fine variable speed that this machine can do all these processes going in one direction. This machine can't do that. This is a raw machine. It's just, there's no digital control, nothing. It's just whatever power is drawn from the socket, the outlet, and it's just turned into mechanical energy, and that's it. There's only 3 speeds on these. Some of them have 4 speeds, but the last 2 speeds are both high. They're the same. Don't ask me why. I don't know. That's probably just because of the parts that they had to buy from the manufacturers. But there's low, medium, and high. That's it. Whereas I have speeds 1 through 10. And it's dynamic. I can go at any point on this dial, and it'll change speed along with it. Here it's just, I set it to low, that's it. It stays on low. Medium, high, that's it. Just to kind of demo a little bit. If I can get the lid on, there we go. So it's right now it's on low speed. Medium, high. That's it. That's the only adjustability I really have. So in order for this machine to do the other processes that this machine can do, let's say you want to do a coarse chop. You would go pretty much to speed 1 or 2, hit it a couple pulses, and the blade moves so slowly that it'll just give you a nice chunk. But you can't do it here because it spins too fast. So what are you supposed to do? Well, in the instructions it tells you to reverse the blade, but there's different ways to reverse the blade, and they explain more in the book, and I'll probably go into more detail in another video. But basically, to do a coarse chop as you would on speed 1 or 2 here, on this machine you have to flick the switch up and down, just like that. And the purpose is, it spins the blade in one direction, and in order to draw everything down into the blade, you reverse it, which gives it a braking action. The blade slows down momentarily, and that's when everything comes down, and then it spins in the other direction and starts chopping everything up. And then the opposite, and it continues to do that until everything is chopped. That's how that works. The kneading process is just tapping the reverse button really quickly. Whereas in this machine, it's you hit the pulse button, or if you don't have a pulse button, just on off real quick at maximum speed. And so when you're blending as well, you'll be at a high speed, and sometimes in order to make sure it draws all the ingredients, with this machine you don't have to worry about that. It's so well designed, the container's so well designed, it just draws everything and circulates everything. You don't have to worry about it. But like I said, this has a flat bottom on it, so when you're blending something, you have to reverse it once or twice to get everything that's sitting on the bottom to get drawn into the blades. So that would be like a high-speed operation, and the reverse is different. The reverse for that operation, you'll have to hold. It'll be set on forward, it stays forward, but you reverse it, and then do that for probably 2 seconds, and then come back up, and then it'll do the whole thing. So with the low speed, that's it. With the low speed, you can go very quickly with forward reverse. With high speed, you have to kind of give it a moment before you can go into reverse. And that's how that operation is done. And you can also see that it moves the machine around a little bit, so you have to just be aware, like when you're doing something, if you hit the reverse, the machine will shift and dance around. So that's another thing. It's the stability of it is that's just the way it is. It can be a little bit scary for people who don't know what to expect. So user friendliness is better with a modern machine. It's more user friendly. So that's basically the gist of it. There's more I'm missing. I'm just doing this on the fly because I'm about to make some coffee, and somebody asked me that question in the comments. I mean, if you already have the machine, half of it, and you're trying to get a container, you know, good luck. But if you're just looking for an everyday machine that you can, you know, make single servings and do the normal everyday things, that has nothing to do with like the hobby and enthusiast part of being a Vitamix owner, just get the new machine, trade it in, get the new machine, man. You know, you're gonna get the warranty, the customer service. You don't have to worry about anything. It works. That's it. You don't have to worry about having to reverse it when you're making a smoothie. None of that kind of stuff. That's it. That's the long answer, the very long answer. All right. Enjoy your day.